Hey y'all, and welcome back. Let's continue on where we left off.
Hey, I know we need to fix up the forge, but before we do, I'd like to talk to you about something.
Sure. What's up?
I owe you an apology.
What for?
I've been a little cold since you've arrived, and I should have been more welcoming. I was just under a lot of stress with everything that happened.
You mean when we ran for our lives from a death cloud into a lost land?
Yeah, that. And losing supplies, and Aurea getting injured, and then having a point takeover who...
Lacks experience.
At the time, that's what it seemed like. But ever since we arrived, you've been more than proving yourself. You made finding food and water a top priority. That's when I realized our weaver band is in good hands. I underestimated you when I shouldn't have, and frankly, I was a jerk about it.
It's okay, Cass.
No, it's not. I really am sorry. I hope we can have a better relationship moving forward.
Thanks. That means a lot. Let's just start fresh, okay?
I'd love that.
How are you feeling now that we're starting to get settled?
If this is settled, I'd hate to see us scrambling. I have a hard time letting my guard down when there are so many unknowns. We're still missing supplies and our campsite isn't half what it should be. Can't see myself relaxing and smelling the roses anytime soon.
The role of point seemed really serious to you. Can I ask why that is?
Because it is serious. If you screw up, we all die.
That seems extreme.
Think of it this way. Let's say we're low on food in the desert. If you scout 3 leagues in the wrong direction, we're all 3 leagues further away from food we need to survive.
Right. I guess I see what you mean. Still sounds like an extenuating circumstance, though.
And being the first to enter the Enclave in almost half a century isn't an extenuating circumstance.
Point taken, I suppose. You know, when talking to Lane, they mentioned that you actually trained to become point yourself. I was wondering if that had something to do with why we weren't getting along.
Oh, no. Being point just wasn't for me. That's all.
So, I know Sola mentioned improvements to her forge meant being able to hone my sword. What does that entail exactly?
Unfortunately, the missing supplies I mentioned.
Is there a way I can help you restock?
Right now, we reserve the materials you bring back for your armors and weapons, because that's the priority. But if there's anything you can spare, I can repurpose them into supplies for our campsite.
Sounds simple enough.
Glad to hear it. These are a great start. With the supplies we've got already, we could shape up our campsite. We lost a lot of stuff when we were running for our lives, and frankly, our setup is only half of what it should be. But we can rebuild.
What do you have in mind?
Like we discussed, Sola could forge better weapons with improvements to her smithy. Like honing your sword so it can cut through arc armor. Alternatively, Dom could certainly care better for our mantles with new tools for weaving. And to keep you in fighting form, having Lane's alchemical tools in top form is invaluable. There's no end to the improvements we could make around here. And everyone's lives would be safer for it.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I don't need anything.
Come on, there must be something.
I mean, would new shelves be nice? Sure. I also have some ideas for your supply pouches. But don't worry about me. I'm fine. Right now, improving Sola's forge is more important.
You're always thinking 10.
You have...
I love it. The better prepared our weaver band is, the sooner we can get out of survival.
Oh.
Totally.
Thanks, Brynn.
Kaz, what Lane said that...
Honestly, it was just too much for me. Leaping headfirst into danger isn't for everyone. What made you decide to become a point?
I love using my skills to serve our band. It brings me a sense of community I've never felt before.
Really? That's what I love about being a quartermaster.
I guess we're both fueled by camaraderie then. I always felt like a black sheep back in Calnhaven.
And has being point given you what you're looking for?
So far, yeah.
Good. For a long time, I felt like I let Aurea down. She wanted me to continue with the training, but I just couldn't. When she offered to keep me on as a quartermaster, I was surprised. In time, it made sense, though. I always enjoyed the planning of my expeditions, more than the expeditions themselves.
So you've been happier as a quartermaster?
Yes. This is much more my speed. Besides, someone needs to hang it with Arva. Seriously. I'm more than happy to leave the creature wrangling to you.
I'm not sure I have what it takes to pack a caravan anyway.
I've seen how messy your tent is. You most definitely do not. Sola is delighted with the improvements to her forge. She can refine your sword as soon as you'd like. Great work, Brynn.
Turns out we make a pretty good team. This campsite will be top of the line in no time.
Yeah. We're definitely going to need to start directing a water flow to the camp. Maybe even install a fountain in the back. Would help to get a garden going in here too. Fruits, vegetables, medicinal herbs. Oh, that reminds me, we'll need the... What?
Do you ever take a break? You know, to enjoy a job well done?
Sure. Sometimes. Once there are fewer fires to put out, I'll relax. I swear.
Just try to remember, it's not the end of the world if you take a break. Someone will step in to help lighten your load.
It doesn't always feel like the others realize how much needs to get done.
Then tell them. Like how you told me we needed supplies. I stepped in to help, didn't I?
You did. I see your point.
The others will do the same.
Maybe. I'd better get back to work, but... this was nice.
I knew we'd recover. We always do. Still feels nice to have my core tools back this quickly.
Still a long way to go, but we'll get there.
Speaking of, I've something for you. We've been scavenging around the way station and reclaimed a fair amount of useful materials. They're stored away and ready for you. Should be enough to reforge your sword as we discussed.
Sounds like it's time to make something that can punch through arc armor.
That's the spirit. There you go. Not just good as new. Better.
Now that I can cut the carapace free, what's next?
Whenever the band is collaborating on a problem, I'm often the one to create the design, and you'll put it together with me. At least normally they're my designs. Sev actually came up with this one. With carapace and enough metal, I can forge his patch for the leaking conduit.
Any particular metal required?
No, just enough of the same type. Sev and I try to keep our designs flexible to work with whatever we've got in the caravan. Once you have everything we need, we'll forge the patch here.
Sola, this plan to repurpose carapace to fix the Loon Gate's conduit? Pure elegance.
Sev's idea. I only helped him with the design.
You did more than help. You practically finished it.
What is this? Competition of humility? You're both brilliant, just like this design.
I can agree with that.
I suppose.
Well pleased with the reforge. There's another option too. We can enhance your gear.
Not the same thing?
No. Enhancing uses more of the same materials from the original construction. I use them to add a bit more protection to your armor, reinforce your blades and such. Worth doing if you have extra materials. I'll be able to do more as we build my smithy's set of tools back up. Did you see the size of that mine entrance? Amazing, isn't it?
You mean the one behind that huge deactivated arc?
That's the one. Given the size of the entrance, I can only imagine how huge the mine must have been. Their yields must have been incredible.
I've heard the rich resources are a big part of why weavers first settled this area.
The land's hostile, but they knew it was worth the risk. Ores from the Enclave are high grade, very pure.
Two wonders of enchanting, an arc and loom gates. We can touch them, smell them if we want, and they don't work. Maddening.
Did you?
Did I what?
Smell the loom gate.
A little, but that's beside the point. But mossy, hints of sage, a subtle yet full-bodied undertone of dirt.
Amazing. Well, now we just need to get it working.
Oh yes, should our plan succeed.
And if not?
Then it is time for Plan B, which I have not yet thought up, but I'm sure we won't need. They are quite the thing, aren't they? Tangles, I mean.
After what it was like outside the Enclave, the ones in here are child's play.
It is an enduring mystery as to why the Veil's shadow is flooded with them. I did not expect that they would be so common inside the Enclave.
Are they common anywhere?
No. They were theoretical until the Veil went up. And then, of course, they became political.
What exactly are tangles?
To our best understanding, magic is more than just energy. As far as we know, raw magic is a physical substance, but normally invisible. Our mantles gather it from the air as we move, but tangles prove it can concentrate on its own.
What did you mean by political?
The surge was specifically catastrophic towards enchanted equipment. Explosions, out-of-control activations, you name it. And tell me, logically, who were the most likely people to have enchanted items on or around them?
The rich and powerful?
Well done. So, in a single moment, you have what seem to be hundreds of assassinations.
And decades of war followed.
As I said, political.
You said they were theoretical. What did you mean?
Lane and I have been digging. The only research on tangles we could find were thought experiments until the Veil's appearance. As you might expect, that research was done here in the Enclave. Apparently, they did not publish everything they knew.
Thanks, Dom. That helps me understand them better.
Ultimately, the most practical advice I can give is very simple. Don't stand in the murder cloud.
I couldn't help overhear Dom mentioning the surge's impact on the politics of our lands.
You really do pay attention to what happens around here, don't you?
A survival instinct. Growing up in Udea, you realise the walls have ears. If some of those ears aren't yours, you're at a disadvantage. That was actually the problem, you see?
The problem?
After the surge cascaded through the Maida, every kind of long-range magical communication broke down. So you have magical chaos and no way to confirm if your nation is under attack. You assume the worst and retaliate. Udea, my homeland, was hit hard. Our trade fleets had become rather dependent on magical navigation.
And they couldn't find their way home.
Or at least to a safe harbour. You could argue the loss of our fleets was worse than any individual war.
Because the trade network suddenly collapsed. My parents used to talk about shortages during those years. It got rough, they said.
Yes, And the worst wars are fought over resources when people are desperate. I very much hope we can find the true cause of all that suffering. And a way out to share it with the rest of the world after we do.
Watch the pack tactics with those Akala. Give ground and use flame if you can. Their fur can't take it. It's quite a thing, being rescued by the scry.
Disorienting. But better than the alternative.
I'll only ever use it when I'm sure it's needed.
It's really nice, having the sensation of you and the others watching over me. You're like the guardian spirits from the stories every Carnhaven child knows. You protect, advise, and of course bicker.
Well, I don't know about spirits, but we'll be your guardians any day.
How come you never hear about scries being used by military? Or to bring nobles home after a night of debauchery?
Rarity and expertise. Scries are Enclave enchantments, and when the veil closed, supplies ceased. On top of that, it takes someone with exceptional control and stamina when channeling magic to use one for any length of time.
Got it. That's why points become watchers. How exactly does it operate?
Similar to a loom gate, but much more focused. I maintain a constant flow of magic into the scry, and it connects to you.
Letting you see the area around me.
In an emergency, I can, I guess yank is the best term, on that connection.
Compared to my last band, I'm glad we actually use the scry.
Just don't take it as a license to be reckless. Risky business flirting with death.
Can I ask how you knew to pack up the camp outside the Vale?
The tangles were shifting. They'd been static the entire time. And then, suddenly, just as an arc deflects a wave of Drake's breath, they start to move. That's no coincidence.
How do you know to run to me, then?
The tangles closed down the path the caravan took in, and it wasn't like I was going to abandon you.
I believe I was promised one epic tale on how you discovered the route into the Vale's shadow.
I suppose I did promise you. Rumors of a safe passage into the shadow had been swirling among Weaver circles for the last 5 years. They'd always piqued my interest, but I couldn't get a solid lead on it until 2 years ago. Weavers in a caravan bound for Don Brennig told me they no longer had a point. They'd lost an older Casil fellow who journeyed on the Strand Road before the surge. He insisted on one last big expedition before his retirement. into the Vale's shadow. It killed him, but they got pretty close.
So you got the route from that caravan?
Not quite. The point that died was the one who led them in. He had the trade roads memorized. But it was confirmation that getting close to the Vale was possible. I spent the next few months chasing leads. Eventually, I was able to trade an Ash Peak Drake's Tooth for a map of the trade roads with a dubious Ashar woman in Tarza.
A drake's tooth?
Some people believe grinding the tooth of a drake into a powder and consuming it could have stimulating properties.
Ah.
Fools. Regardless, between the map and the other leads, I was able to plan the route that led us to the Vale's shadow a fortnight ago. The final missing piece was an apprentice point to take on the expedition with me.
Glad I could help. Thanks
Welcome.
for sharing, Aurea.
What's a good adventure if you can't regale someone with the tale later?
Hello. I hope your day has been well so far.
Well, it's better now that you just woke up, Sunshine.
Haha. Beaming face with smiling eyes.
Hey, I told you, you can bring the boys to the yard, that doesn't mean my husband.
I can't help it, Mama C. Rolling on the floor laughing.
Right? It just happened that way.
It just happens, lol.
Alright. With kinetic magic, I should be able to clear the base of the loop gate. All done.
Nice work, Brynn. We should have enough space to work on fixing that pipe now. You're coming up on the Ark of the Stricken Earth. With a stronger sword, hopefully the carapace will come off easy.
This might take a while.
You'll need to swing harder to cut through armor that thick.
What's happening?
Retrieving the carapace is going to be trickier than we thought.
Is she really ready to fight that thing?
Catch your breath. When you're ready, you can climb the arc to attack it from different angles. Those discs, those are holding the armor in place. those are holding the armor in place. With everything you've got. You brace for it. Catch your breath. When you're ready, you can climb the arc to attack it from different angles. Your breath. When you're ready, you can climb the arc to attack it from different angles. Climb the arc to attack it from different angles. Those are holding the armor in place. See those discs? Those are holding the armor in place. That's it. Hit the exposed skin with everything you've got.
I was worried we might lose our chance to get the carapace, but you secured it.
Any concerns about using the Archon's strand, Dom?
Concerns? None. Excitement? Considerable. We should be able to weave that strand into your mantle, Brynn.
Perfect.
You think this patch will fix the leaking pipe?
Yes. And with the debris cleared, why don't you tell Aria we've got everything we need to fix the loom gate?
Me?
Acting or otherwise, major communication should come from the point.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, this was like a good time to stop here, guys. We'll continue on part 3 here soon. Catch you guys in the next episode.